Good morning guys and welcome back to the channel. I'm Chris, the Ultimate Recycler, and every Monday we go to the charity shop and pick up the electrical stuff that they don't want, and I try and save as much as I can. It's Monday, let's have a look what we got this week. Not as much as the last few weeks, but we have got something pretty interesting. This isn't it. This is a vacuum tube, and I think it's a handheld vacuum in the crate here, so not very exciting. I might as well go through the stuff here. There's only one crate. And I also purchased some things to flip, which I like to try and do each week. Currently they've got a half price sale on, but I've been paying full price anyway because they're raising money for the local hall, and I only pick out stuff I reckon I can triple my price on. So I'm not going to say half price, yes, I'll only pay half. Happy to give them a bit extra, and I'm still going to triple my money. I found this. Does it suit me? It's a, oh, hang on, I had my hand over its mouth. Some sort of tourist piece, I would suggest, from New Guinea, Fiji. It says Fiji on the back. So a Fijian sort of tribal type mask, just a wall decorative thing. I'm not sure how old this is. It could be 1970s or so. I paid $4 for it. They wanted to do it for $2. I think I can probably get 15, so I paid them $4. So that was all right. I also found a little vase, and I'm always attracted to these little vases. I'll give you a closer look. Always attracted to these ones with Australian type greens and browns. It's quite common with Australian pottery to have those sort of colours. I guess it represents the bush. This one I don't think is Aussie. It could even be Japanese. It was only $2. I think I'll get 10 for that, no problems. I think that's all I purchased this week. But our e-waste, we have, here's the vacuum. It has got the charger with it. It's like a stick vacuum. What brand is it? It looks like a cheapie. Oh no, it's Hoover. So it might be a fairly good one. It might also be fairly old. I guess we'll see if it works. If it does work, we should be able to sell it. If not, we might just scrap it. In a box here we have a swivel power head. What does that suit the Hoover? Oh, it says, yeah, suitable for Hoover. So maybe that does suit that stick vacuum. Oh yeah, well there's the other bits and pieces. So we have a brush, a crevice tool, something else in there. A power head, I guess. So hopefully that does work well because we have got a lot of fittings for it. Now we have a kitchen appliance here. It's a mixer. It feels very light. Can't see a brand on it. Lumina. So yeah, I think that's just a cheap supermarket type brand. It's probably going to be pretty rough. We'll see if it works though. Don't have any bowls with it. Not much left in this box, but I have something really exciting to show you at the end. This looks like a set-top box, or is it a DVD? Panasonic, I think it's just a Panasonic DVD player with the remote, which is great. I actually have a customer after a DVD at the moment, so hopefully that works all right. We have a selection of mixer fittings. I guess they go with that larger mixer. And oh, what's in the bottom here? A little engraving tool with some, I'm too far away from the camera, aren't I? A little engraving tool with some little fittings. Looks like, oh, it's a USB one. How about that? So really probably can't do much more than just file your fingernails. It won't have a lot of power, but we'll see how we go. I'm probably not going to get $5 for that, but we'll test it out. And the only other thing I got was this mysterious black box. It's quite vintage, and it says on the top, Pictorial project. It's hard to say. Pictorial projector. So the box looks probably 1940s or perhaps 50s. Let's have a look inside. And it is a vintage projector with the cord. And that's really cool. This is why I like getting e-waste from the charity shops, because it would be such a shame for history like this just to be thrown into the waste stream. This one we should be able to sell. Even if it doesn't work, we should be able to sell this quite easily. So we'll give that a test out. It's a cool little box as well. All right, so that's all we have to go. Let's start plugging things in and see if they work. Let's start with this Hoover vacuum. It's an ultralight. It's a cordless or rechargeable, and the charger's with it. It's the proper charger. It feels quite light. I did a bit of checking online. I think they're well over 10 years old, and I read some reviews on it and people were quite scathing. Some people said they liked it, but a lot of people didn't. One guy said something like the floor was dirtier after he'd used it. Someone else made the comment that would be great for an asthmatic if you wanted to end things then and there. So obviously it's not very effective. Most people said the suction was terrible. Hoover did reply to some of the comments to their credit on the forum that I was reading. Well, I assume it was actually a Hoover or an appliance forum. And they did remind people that they're not really designed to vacuum your whole house. These are just for like touch-ups in between a main vacuum. But general complaint was there was hardly any suction. Apparently the battery didn't last long. And I think from what I can gather, they were a couple of $100 to buy back when they were available. They're a discontinued model. This one, if we pull the trigger, actually still has charge in it. So that's a good sign that the battery's probably okay. Mind you, it barely has any suction. It won't even suck that little flap in. So probably the filter's clogged. I'm sure people wouldn't take it to the charity shop after giving it a good clean, because it just never seems to happen. How do we open that? There we go. Yeah, there's a lot of dust in here. Does that unscrew or does it fall out? Something fell out. Oh, pumpkin seed. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. So it needs a really good clean up, but I don't feel like it's going to have a lot of suction anyway. Still, it does work. I had a look on eBay, couldn't see any that were on the market secondhand, but I did find a genuine charger, and this is, as a buy it now for $40, and it sold. And that's probably because it's a 26 volt, so it's an unusual voltage, and I'm sure some of the companies actually do that purposely so that you can't just grab a generic charger, you know, like a 12 volt one that are everywhere. You have to buy their charger. So maybe they don't make so much out of the unit and they're looking to make spare parts value, like when people order new filters, and if you break a charger or your pet chews the cord off or something like that, you've got to spend obviously quite a bit to buy a new one. I don't know if you can still buy them through Hoover. The fact that one second-hand sold on eBay for $40, admittedly it was free postage, so the seller would have got, you know, nearly $30, at least $25 when you take out fees. So that's an option. I could actually try that on eBay. I would like to try and keep the thing together. It's not damaged, it's a bit scuffed. And given that we've got all the fittings, I mean, yes, probably my best return would be to scrap it just for the electric motor and sell the charger on eBay. And possibly I could sell some of these fittings because I did see, I think I saw a power head sold for about $30 or something. And this one may even be new. That looks like a brand new power head. Look at that. So maybe we should look at doing that. For best return, I think that would be worthwhile. That is a never been used power head. So I'll have to think about it. If I sell that and I sell the charger on eBay, I really have to scrap what's left because no one's going to buy it without a charger. Maybe I could just sell the power head and I could still sell the vacuum with the charger there. I'm probably only going to get $20 for it, if that. But at least it gets rid of it all in one go. I don't have to muck around on eBay and post out a little charger. Someone might still have a use for it. Perhaps it's handy in the car, just with the crevice tool. Does that plug straight? Yeah, so it's probably handy in the car. I think I'll clean it up. I'll clean the filter. I'll leave the charger with it. We'll sell this through the shop. And I might try for 20 if it seems to charge up okay. We'll make sure the charger works. And then I can actually put this power head on eBay. All right, that's probably what I'm going to do with that. To be revised though. Okay, that gets that one sorted. The only other thing really we have to do, we have the DVD player and that great old projector and the little engraver, but we'll check out the mixer next. So this mixer is branded Lumina, which I think is an Aldi brand. It certainly feels like something you would purchase at Aldi. It's extremely light, it's creaky, and I'm going to spin the turntable, and I think we should all just take a moment to appreciate the sound of dubious quality. doesn't it? It sounds like it's rolling on gravel. Okay, so I'm not expecting good things. I'm going to plug it in. It'll probably work, but I don't think it's going to work well enough to sell. I think these things were new, were only $70 or $80. I don't think they were very expensive. Not sure how old this one is. Okay, we have it powered up. There's no metal except for the actual beaters to see. Well, we won't have an earth that's double insulated anyway. We have a speed. I assume this is speed control. Let's see if we have any speed. Well, surprisingly, that actually sounded all right. Okay, it has a bit of a turbo gone wrong whistle to it, so often when I turn these things up to maximum, I'm kind of cringing in the background and holding my arm in front of my face because they sound like they're going to explode. But that actually works all right. I've got to say that's smoother sounding than I expected it to be. So there's a chance that it hardly had any work. It certainly had some work. Let's just unplug it for the moment. And I think the top will come off. There we go. So it's got the remains of, well, probably the best part of a birthday cake smeared around it still. Clearly it wasn't cleaned before it was donated. The base is really light plastic, that's all it is, with the lovely turntable. I'm going to clean it up because it has all these fittings. It has your normal mixer beaters, and it also has these whisk ones, and it has, I think these are dough hooks, are they? Anyway, they're all pretty clean. I'm just going to wipe the plastic over. It actually will present fairly well, but I'm only going to ask $10 for it. But someone still should get some use out of it before it eventually gets thrown into the waste stream. There's no real scrap to mention. Yes, it will have an electric motor, but I bet you it's tiny. It has a very short length of cord, that's it. If I can get $10 for it, I'm going to be well ahead, although it's going to take me a little while to clean it up, and hopefully someone can get a bit of use out of it before it ends its days. So there we go, a cheap and rather nasty but operational mixer, stand mixer I think they call them. Some of them do have the option of being used as a hand mixer. I don't think it's the case with this one. It's kind of a bit bulky, but I guess it's easier to clean if you can take it off. So there we go, that finishes our appliances. Let's find a little USB charger and see how this works. Now, I was joking before when I said about using this on your fingernails, and I didn't have my glasses on. Look, it's actually for manicures and pedicures. It's not a little engraver, it's actually for doing your nails. Now, we were talking cheap and relatively nasty with that kitchen mixer. This is cheap and terribly nasty. This is so poorly made. It's got a little USB cord there. I've got it plugged into a charger now. Let's turn it on and have a listen to it. I did look online and I found lots of these, even in different colours, from about $10, brand new, up to about a bit over 20. Now, that vibrates so much, it actually makes my fingers hurt. And if you look at the end, it wobbles. I don't think it's bent, but there is no precision here. Look at the movement in that. So it's a cheap and nasty fingernail, or I suppose you could maybe sand calluses from your hands or your feet. It's got little sanding discs, but I think this is downright dangerous, to be honest. Anyway, it's cheap, it's terribly nasty, and this one does work, but I'm going to just, what am I going to do? Put $3 on it? I'm not even going to give a charger in with it because I sell them for $3, and I don't think I'd get $5 for it with a charger. I'm just going to put this out with the cord wrapped up, showing that it's USB with its little attachments, and it looks like someone has been sanding paint from their fingernails. Perhaps it might be okay as a hobbyist to do a little bit of work, but you're much better off buying a Dremel or something of pretty good quality. This thing is shocking. So I'm going to try and get $3 for that. It does work and it is safe, but that's pretty well all it's got going for it. Next up is this DVD player, and hopefully it works. Be nice to have something that was donated that is in good working order. So it's nice that they at least kept the remote with it. Quite often I don't get remotes with things from the charity shop because they get lost. Has it got batteries in it? It has. Hopefully it's working. Let's see if it works on the camera. Yep, we see a purple light, so that's all good. Now this looks to be a low power unit, so it would be useful in a caravan or something. 12 volts input. Oh, it only has HDMI. Alright, well I have one of those cables here plugged into the TV. So let's power it up and see if it works. Now what's the bet? Either the door doesn't work, the drawer, the tray, or it does work and there's some really dodgy DVD in there, or I don't know, what else can be wrong with it? It won't power up. Where's the switch? We've got to manually power it up. There we go, we've got a red power light. Sounds like it's trying to read something. No, oh, we have to set the TV to DVD, don't we? Where's the source? Okay, we've got it to HDMI 1. Do we have anything happening? There we go. Blu-ray disc player. Okay, cool. Let's see if the tray opens. Excellent. Let's see if we can play a DVD. Reading. Okay, very good. That seems to be working. And let's play. Beautiful. All right. That's good. So I've got someone that wants to buy one of these. This one looks okay. The remote's great. Needs a bit of a clean up where the sticky tape was, but it looks like it's all going to work fine. Let's get into the film. It goes a bit faster. Yep. Beauty. Oh, I think we need to press play. And pause. All right, that's good. Does it eject from the remote? I think it does. Good stuff. Okay, we'll clean that up. Not sure what we'll get for that one. I'll check out the model to make sure it's not a super cheapie. Blu-ray disc player, we might get $20. Not sure, but that's good. Happy that that works. Close. Now the last thing of the day, and probably the best, is this picture roll projector. Really nice little plaque on there, doesn't it look great? So I'm guessing this is, I think, 1940s or 50s, I said earlier. Let's get out of the box and have a look. It's got the power cord. Now the cord's probably, or the plug's quite broken. Yeah, right around the edge. It's Bakelite and it's been knocked around a lot, so I'll probably have to put a new plug on that if we're actually going to have it functional. In fact, the cord is the old rubber one and it looks very perished in places, so I don't think that's really safe. Geez, a long cord on it. Wow. Oh, and someone's done something really dodgy here. They've extended it, and the new cord is equally as dodgy. In fact, that has shorted out, I think. I reckon that those wires have actually twisted together, so that would have blown fuses. It's possibly melted the plastic. It's gone very hard there. Super hard. The rest of it looks a little better, but obviously it needs work. We have an inline switch. Oh, there's another section here that's blown out, or the rubber's broken down and we can see bare wires, so I'm certainly not plugging it in. Another section here, right through to the bare wires. Really cool inline switch. That's a lovely looking switch. Beautiful. They don't make them like that anymore. So we'll save that. Looks like it comes apart, so we should be able to rewire some new wires into that. Yeah, the cord is completely had it, so we're certainly not plugging it in. Let's get the little unit out itself. How cute. That's very, very nice. Purely as an ornament, it's going to be worth a fair bit. So it's a Model Q, 120 volts. Well, it must be US made. Yeah, Chicago, US. Manufactured by the Society for Visual Education, Inc. 100 watts. That's just so gorgeous, isn't it? Really cute. Beautiful paintwork. It's that sort of hammer-tone metallic black in immaculate condition. It's on a timber base. A little bit of wear to the paint around the base. Some decals on the bottom here. They'd be patent dates. Can't see an actual date. But I'd say it's around the 1940s or so. Lens looks okay. That's really nice. So, and the cord's had it where it goes into. You can see it's just totally had it. You can see the bare wires just all matted together there. Again, the plastic in this section, or the rubber coating, has gone rock hard. So the wiring is totally shot, but we've certainly got to save that inline switch. That's a beauty. And that's a great little piece in its original box. I haven't done any checking on it. I'll do a bit of research. I'm thinking, even if we just sell it with its original wiring as is, just sort of neatly bundled up with a warning sticker on it not to plug it in. Maybe I'll even take the plug off it, because the plug's all broken anyway, and that way no one can inadvertently plug it in and start a fire or electrocute themselves. But yeah, nice piece in its box. I'll have to check out, but I think it's at least a $50 item just purely as a prop. I haven't seen one quite like this before. So does it take slides or film somehow? Like, it looks like there's a film canister going there. This is possibly before slides. I'll have to do a bit of checking, but what a great piece. So I've done a bit of checking online. I found quite a lot of them in the US, as you would expect. Most people are listing them as 1940s. I only found one in Australia. The guy was looking for $75 for it. I think I'm just going to put maybe 60 on it. I've amputated the bulk of the cord. I'm just going to leave this piece on with the switch, and then there's no danger of anyone plugging it in, and it's pretty obvious that you shouldn't anyway. The plug, I just broke the prongs out for some chunky brass for my brass bin. I'll keep the brass screws, but that was all broken up anyway. It says it's 120 volts, 100 watts, but it'd be very easy to have it working on 240 volts. Now this whole carriage thing comes out, which has a prism in it, I think, and an angled lens or something in there. And there's a glass lens in there. And as you can see, the entire electrics is just purely a little lamp holder at the bottom, and the two wires go to the terminals there. It'd be very easy to just put a 240 volt globe in there, perhaps even a different lamp holder if you can't find one. I think that's a bayonet fitting. You could probably get a small Edison screw lamp fitting to go in there and to put a 240 volt globe in. So anyway, I'm just going to sell it as it is. I'm not going to try and rewire it. Someone else can do that. There's a fair chance it'll only ever be display anyway. Get a bit of wire for my scrap bin, so that's handy. Get a little bit of brass. And I'm going to put $60 on it in the shop, and I reckon it's a beauty. Just before we go to the deck, I've just been cleaning the last of the things up. The little vacuum cleaned up pretty well, and I just thought I'd mention this filter came from the exhaust side, and have a look at how absolutely chockers with dust it was. I have cleaned it out with compressed air. It probably needs replacing, but at least it should work a bit better now. In defense of Hoover, I think a lot of their bad reviews were from people that didn't even look to see if there was a filter in there. Some people don't even clean the filters at all. They've probably taken this one out and cleaned this one, put it back together, and decided that it's useless, and they'll leave a bad review. And you saw how bad this one was. It probably escapes most people's notice, and let's face it, not very many people actually read instruction manuals. So this one is hidden in here. So now that it's all back together, it's charged up well, and it actually has reasonable suction. So I think it's not a bad machine. It's cleaned up well. All the accessories, I've given a bit of a quick clean. I'm actually going to try $30 on this in the shop. I think it's a pretty reasonable unit. I've noticed it's also not only got the trigger, but it's got continuous mode. I think with a brand new filter in there, it would perform as new. It sounds good. Nothing's broken. So, and I think they retailed at a few $100s, so I'm going to try 30. We should be able to get that. And incidentally, the new power head I'm going to throw in with it, I did find some online through actual vacuum cleaner shops, and they were selling them for $40 odd free postage. So it's not valuable enough to eBay on its own, but I'll throw the whole lot in together. We should be able to get our 30. So everything else is laid out here, not very much this week. But on the plus side, everything is actually going to be sold. We have a little bit of scrap wire from that old projector. And I think the only rubbish is the broken Bakelite plug in there. So nothing going to e-waste, hardly anything going into landfill, and most things, well, I think everything should find a new home. And that brings us to the notepad this week, and you can see not much quantity, but some pretty good quality. So potentially $133. That projector is going to look great in the shop, so I'm not going to be in a rush to sell that. I will message the lady that asked me to let her know next time I had a DVD player in. And the other things, well, I think they'll sell fairly quickly at those prices, as will probably these. But if they don't, that's fine. I like that stuff in the shop. So potentially $158 this week. More has gone from last week. In fact, we're not left with a whole lot, really. Just a few bits and pieces. I did sell a few pieces before they even got to the shop from people messaging me, so that's great. I do put a post on Facebook Marketplace each week on the Thursday, and then we open the shop Friday. So quite often I get to work Friday morning and have to put a number of things aside, which is great. The previous week, this was just the end of the previous week, we did sell that vase. That was a nice green and brown vase, similar to what we got this week, but a little bit larger. Got 10 for that, no problems. And the rest of part 31, you can see a lot of stuff has gone there too. So if this stuff hangs around for another weekend, we'll start discounting things, but a good percentage has already gone. Just a couple of things left from part 30. The lamp's in the shop now. I'm not worried about discounting that. And the timer and the winch controller. We might drop the winch controller to $5. Part 29 sees the coffee filter machine down to $5, and same with the Seiki kettle. So they were discounted last weekend. They're still there at this stage. They might end up free shortly. Part 28 we had finished, and the only other one that hadn't been ruled off was part 27. And as you can see, everything's actually gone now. The party light wax warmer I was going to make free, but it actually sold before I got to it. And we've even sold the tea tongs now, and also some of the odd silver plate spoons and forks. So we've got a really good return on our cutlery. I think we paid $20 for that. What are we up to? $10, $45, $50 back. So, and the fish set should sell, I would think. I might have to drop it a little bit, but we're well into profit there anyway. And every other episode previous to this is finished. So thanks for coming along again on my Monday marathon. It wasn't quite so long this week. We had a lot less stuff, but on the plus side, we've got a potentially really good return. We've got a couple, well, one particular really nice item to put in the shop. I love that old, really classic vintage stuff in the shop. It looks great. And the really good thing is that absolutely nothing went into the e-waste stream, and only one broken Bakelite plug goes into the rubbish bin. So that's a very successful save this week, pretty much 100%. Got to be happy with that. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next week for another episode of a Monday Marathon e-waste processing. I'm enjoying them. I hope you guys are too. We'll catch you then. Bye for now.